little too controversial for you, but as you can see, I'm an American, and me as an American boxing fan, and what I do is I cover every single major fight live, and there's some fighters that I gain an interest in that the general mainstream boxing fan or boxing media doesn't. In this case, Anthony the Man, or Anthony Chuck Mundine, son of the great Tony Mundine, 46-1. 46-6-1 with 27 knockouts. Most notable fights: Sam Solomon, Garth Wood, 2 fights with Daniel Gill, retired Shane Mosley via back spasms. Joshua Clottey. Clottey beat the shit out of him, but we're going to talk about that. Now, people say, well, who is Anthony Mundine? He's 39 years old, and I can't really describe him as a boxer, because he somewhat has it all except for the lateral movement. He used to have a little bit when he was younger, but now it's power, and he does have a jab. He can box. But let me say this. He's going to be fighting a guy by the name of Sergey Radchenko. This guy is 26-0 with 18 knockouts, if I'm correct. Long story short, he's trained by Ricky Hatton, and the guy is good. They're fighting for the WBC, the WBC silver light middleweight title. So basically, they're fighting for a mandatory shot at Floyd Mayweather's WBC title. And you think, like, how did Anthony Mundine get up in a situation like this? But hey, to each his own. Before he ran into Joshua Clottey, he had won 4 straight fights. Okay, even though he had lost to Daniel Gill, he was gaining some momentum. Now, me, going back to what I was saying, I cover every single major fight live, and a guy like Anthony Mundine was very close to a title shot. Now you see he's even closer. But to watch his fights, I can't work for nobody. I got to be available on Wednesday mornings at like 5:30 in the morning. That's realistically here on the East Coast in the United States. To watch an Anthony Mundine fight live, I gotta go to bed early, or I gotta stay up all the way, basically the whole night, just to watch his fights live. And and I think, like, why do I do this for Anthony Mundine? Well, for one, he talks a lot of shit. And me, I think those type of boxers are always going to be good for boxing, and they're always going to sell, even though he talks all that shit, and sometimes majority of the time he don't back it up, but still, you can say he's an exciting fighter because he sells the fights. And the fights he's in are not known to be boring fights. For example, his last fight was exciting, because he got knocked down 5 times, and even the judges cards were still off. It's like he got knocked down 5 times, but the judges still had him in some of the fight. So his dream has always been to fight Floyd Mayweather. He says he's the greatest boxer of all time. Whether he really believes that, hell, that's great for him. I'm good. He's that I'm glad he's that confident. But if he thinks he's going to get a Floyd Mayweather, oh my God, he's dreaming. Anthony Mundine, if you're watching this, listen, understand, I understand, that you want that fight, you've been chasing that fight your whole life, but it's not going to happen. It's not happening. You beat Shane Mosley, you thought you were going to get there, and Joshua Clottey. And the thing is, here's the thing like this, he would have ended, he was very close to fighting like a Carlos Molina. No, I think K9 had the belt at the time. He was very close for fighting or being able to fight for that IBF title or that WBA that Lara has. He was close, but he got stopped back in April. So now he's picking it up and he's trying to get back on the horse. And I gotta say, it's been bad for for Australian fighters this year, and it started with him. You got him, you got Jared Fletcher. You got Daniel Gill, and how am I missing somebody else? I'm missing a couple other people. But basically, it's been Victor Archenian, and he's been over. But basically, it's been a bad year for Australian fighters. They've just been getting beat up on. So if Mundine wants to end the year on that term, he can be the last Australian fighter. Oh, and Daniel Dawson, he lost to Austin Trout, but Daniel Dawson did show a glimmer of hope because he did put Austin Trout down. 2 times, so it's like, the Aussie luck is turning, but if Anthony Mundine beats Radchenko, and I've seen 2 of his fights, I'm not really, trustworthy of Ricky Hatton's training skills because of the fact that, it was a picture posted on my Facebook wall, my boxing forum right down below. It's a Facebook page, like a regular personal Facebook page, but I run it as a boxing forum for my own reasons. If you want to ask me, why I run it that way, then you got to just, send a friend request. Also website Real Combat Media is where all the boxing articles basically that I talk about are. So what I'm saying is that I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I don't trust Ricky Hatton. That was a picture put on my wall, right? But Ricky Hatton is like, he fucked up, laying on his chick titties. Like he fucked up laying on these tits. And you got like these chicks, and they know what they're doing. They know who he is. They taking pictures like, look, we taking pictures with a fucked up ass Ricky Hatton. So I'm not saying he's off the wagon, because we know he has some issues, Every now and then I drink probably I would say an average of 1.023 drinks a month. But, when he's sitting there looking all fucked up, it's like, you can't be looking like that in public because of your reputation. So this is going to be interesting because Rabchenko was undefeated and he's good. So Anthony Mundine just lost to Joshua Clottey, was being knocked all over the ring. So, this is the final shot for Anthony Mundine. This may very well be his very last fight. He's been advised to retire so many other times before in the past, but if he loses this one, and the fact that he's getting that mandatory shot, and remember, this whole situation is just out of control. Remember that the WBC has been issuing mandatories like nothing. For example, let's start with 135. Well, they most likely was going to issue Figueroa versus Linares. At 140, Danny Garcia versus Victor Postol. The WBC made that happen. Let me check and see something real quick, guys. By the way, please subscribe on T Street Controversy. Yes, once again, I cover all fights, every single major fight live. So I'm checking one thing. See, what I'm saying is that once again, the WBC ordered Danny Garcia versus Victor Postol. That's 140, 147, and 154. Floyd Mayweather is defending both of those titles. Something that very rarely has happened through history. Mayweather is defending his 147-pound WBC title and 154-pound WBC title. I'm not going to worry about the other titles right now, but remember what I'm saying about those two titles. So in the 160-pound division, Miguel Cotto has been ordered to fight the winner of Marco Antonio Rubio, Gennady Golovkin. In the 168-pound division, Anthony Dirrell and Saki Obika got it on twice. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. just turned down a title shot. WBC was about to make mandatory Chavez Jr. versus Anthony Dirrell. In the 175. In the heavyweight division, Deontay Wilder is the #1 contender, for that WBC title that Bermane Stiverne has. So you get what I'm saying? So Anthony Mundine is in a situation if he wins this fight, he could very well be getting a title shot, or getting that belt from Floyd Mayweather vacating it. This is outrageous, and I'm not saying. Okay, all right, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. I'm saying it's outrageous as far as damn, Anthony Mundine getting a shot like that. I'm not disputing what the WBC is doing, as far as, because I love the fact that they're making these mandatories, but it's damn, Anthony Mundine is really that close. But if you really think about it, matter of fact, let me check. This is what I have this for right here. If you really think about it, Anthony Mundine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7-3 in his last 10 fights. So it's not like he was on some Shane Mosley shit, he just was losing back-to-back fights, but I'm not gonna start, throwing boxers' names out there. But realistically, he's not that, that far off. But I'm gonna say once again, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. If Anthony Mundine wins, he's most likely going to be the mandatory challenger for Floyd Mayweather's WBC title. Please subscribe.